Welcome back to Henry's Garage. In this episode we continue to make progress on putting the engine back together. Most of the way there. Bit of a problem now with the getting the water pump back in, but we're progressing on, so enjoy the episode and see you soon. I came out again last night after I'd done the video looking at this, and I just used these in the end, clamping on, then it came out, so that's good from that point of view. Now it's actually a 1/4 inch UNF thread, and I have some of those, and so this one goes in nicely. Okay, so I'm good there. Oh, Gordon Bennett, Henry. So that's good. I took this one came off. I noticed it's got a washer on it. I didn't know if the other one did, but I have found another washer exactly the same size, so I think it must have come out and landed on the floor somewhere. But I think I might turn this engine over just to make sure I didn't have one fall into that piston and this is something else. I think it should be a lock washer, so I'm actually going to change those both to lock washers on there. And I just need to check that this will be long enough actually. Yeah, so this will, it's not as long as the previous one, but this will get us in a few threads, and with a bit of thread lock on this, so it's only going to be a few threads, but I think with a bit of thread lock that should be okay. So we're going to do that, but first I won't bother to film it, but I'm going to tip this over and just to check that I haven't had something fall in there. Before we do that, I was asked where the TR7 is currently, since they haven't seen it for a while, and it's under that, so it's outside, it's undercover in terms of that on it, and we'll have a look at it later when we've got the engine sorted and we're starting to put things back on. I've been thinking about it, and I think when the engine is done, we're either going to start working on electrics or we'll put in the brake lines, so because we want both of those in before we actually put the engine back in. Right, I flipped the engine over and everything was good there, so we're going to apply. So I've got a couple of new block washers here. Let's make sure they fit. Yeah, so we're going to apply. I've only got a thread lock blue, but that should be okay. So we're applying some of that. Right, and no talking today on these. There we go, that's all we're doing, so I hope that's okay. And now we'll move on to the sump. Right, I'm not going to do the sump first. We've got the sump gasket which goes here, and then the timing cover needs to come on, and I don't know how tight a fit that's going to be under here, so we're going to put this on first, the timing cover on first. So in order to do that, this is already torqued, so I need to find out where these are meant to be at 27. I'm going to confirm that, but these should be at 27 Newton meters, and so I'm going to tighten these all down to that first, and then and put this on, and then we'll move on to the sump. Right, I can't find what I've done with the timing chain cover bolts. They would have been with the cover originally, but the cover's come out of its bag because it got painted and stuff. The only bag I can find which looks about the right size and doesn't have a name on it, so if it was from here, is this one. And these aren't long enough, so it's not these. These are from something else. So I don't know what else was in there, but that might be from the engine support, actually, thinking about it. So, with that in mind, what we're going to do is we're going to put the sump on, because now that we've got that there in place, we can start fitting things around it like that. Okay, so let's have a look at the sump. There we go. Okay, so the sump gasket can only go on one way round. This is the only way the holes line up. If you try to put it on this way, we haven't got a hole here, and so we're missing there. It doesn't go that way, so it only goes one way. So we know it goes like this. Okay, there. So we're going to put this on. We'll do a bit with the gasket maker. We'll put this on, and we do have the bolts for the sump, so I know that those can go on. I thought I'd done a decent job of putting my bolts in sensible places, so that, you know, bagging them up all separately and things like that. I don't seem to have done a good enough job, because I'm struggling in some places to find them. And I don't know if that's because I just put the name of the part, you know, and then the bigger piece, and that's been moved. And so, for example, here, in fact, I didn't even write anything on it. So there was something in here. I don't know what it was now, but it would have been a fairly big piece. And I'm left with these, but I don't know where they go. And so, and I mean, you know, I've clearly got bits missing, so anyway, we'll have to see if we can get some measurements for things and work it out. But I've clearly missing 3 here. I still haven't found the timing one. It can't be that, can it? No, there, because there are other things that go on there as well. Well, we'll see. Anyway, so that's causing a bit of a problem. Like, I haven't talked this down yet, so I think I'll do that next. Talk what I've got, and then decide what to do next. Okay, I was going to stick the put the oil pump on next. But to do that, I'm going to have to remove this and then find somewhere else in order to... it might just fit, actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to find somewhere else in order to then bolt the engine to the stand. And so I'm going to leave that for now. It's got seals that need replacing, and I have those. But I'm going to leave that for now and come back to it probably last. Hopefully I'll have found all of the other bolts that need to go elsewhere by then. And so the next thing we're going to look at, so I'll turn the engine over as soon as I can. So what will this be? That's fuel. Well, it must be something else to do with oil. I'm not sure. Oil pressure gauge or something like that. Anyway, we'll find that, and that will go in there. Okay, so it's the oil pressure gauge. I've got a new ring oil seal for this. Where is it there? Or O-ring. But it doesn't have a gasket in my kit, so I guess questions are, should it have one? And do I need to find one for it? Unless it's in my top of the engine set. I could have a look for that. So should it have one? But given how this sticks out, I doubt it. And so given it doesn't, let's assume it doesn't, do I need to... Does this want gasket maker? I'm going to put it on without, and if people think it should have it, let me know, and we'll do something about it. Well, there is oil in here, so I don't know why it's playing silly buggers. Okay, so that should hold that for me. Only goes on the one way round. There is a notch, and I'm just trying to find it. So that's that on. I think we'll flip the engine over now, and we'll yeah, I think we'll flip the engine over and do the oil pump next. Right, so I have a new fuel pump spacer, which this appears to unstick. So I presume I strip these off and put them on. I need to get it lined up properly. I think, and I haven't decided yet, but I might put gasket maker on both sides of that just to ensure a good seal. Then I have a new gasket for it, and of course I have my fuel pump. So the fuel pump's got to go in here and hook underneath somehow the jack shaft. So I'm just going to have a little feel. We're going to have to see how we go there. So this appears to be the same both sides. So I'm going to, I think a bit of gasket maker on this will just help me get a better seal. Okay, so with that in, we're going to actually try just turning the engine again to make sure that it's turning and this hasn't jammed it in some way, and to see if we can hear it at all. Right, well, I've just taken it round once, brought it back to top dead centre, as you can see here. It went. Whether or not it's pumping, I don't know. But it certainly turned the whole way around, and that's what I wanted to check. I've got 7 studs here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 places. And I've got 5 at that length and 2 at that length, so you can see the difference. And I've got my Rimmer Brothers catalogue here. So since we're up at the head, let's put these on before I forget about them. Right, next we're gonna, I don't know if I'm doing this in any sensible order, but this will go on. Screwdriver. shaft pulley attachment, 160 Newton meters. My word. Right. Right, 160 Newton meters. I can't torque this down until I get something on the other end to hold the engine in place, because it's just gonna turn, as you can see, rather too easily. So we're gonna have to leave this one for now and come back to it. So why I bothered to get this out, I don't know, but I didn't think about it at the time. So what bit next? Right, I've been looking at nuts and bolts and things. So I've found the ones that I think I had missing to the sump. So that's all in now and tightened down. The left-handed thread is torqued down. So it's been suggested I should get the cage out and put the new seals on there, and even get the mating surface on this machined, but I haven't. I couldn't get the cage out. I tried. I spent a good couple of hours on it. I just couldn't get it out. No, I didn't spend a couple of hours. I spent a good half hour on it. I couldn't get it out. I was worried I was going to damage it, so I stopped. Okay, so what we're going to do here... Oh, geez, these are tight. Is we're going to have to clean these a bit so that we can tighten them up nicely. Right, we're going to try fitting the water pump housing. So the process for this, in order to get the right gaskets, because the kits always come, you get 3 gaskets, a 10, a 20 and a 30, is you tighten it down without gaskets. You measure your gap, and then you put on the gaskets in order to get the right overall size. So that water pump needs to go further in, because right now it's going to be a huge gap. So I don't know how easy that is to see, but we've got, this is obviously the brass cage here, and then this is right down deep in the engine, so I can just touch that ring down there with my finger. Okay, I can just reach it, and that, I think, the water pump must slide into that. Okay, so that holds it at the other end. And what I can't quite tell, no, there isn't anything sticking out there for it to centre on, but so this needs to go in and then slip down into that hole, and at the moment it's not doing it. So right, I'm stuck here. I've been looking at this for half an hour and I can't work out how to get this far enough in. So it's in and it turns on the gears, so it's definitely in that far. It just doesn't seem to want to go any further. Now I've noticed it's keyed, or deed, whichever one, but I can't see that when I'm looking in there that makes any difference to how it goes in, especially since the whole thing is going to turn. So I don't know how to get it in there. I mean, it takes, you know, a slide hammer to get it out, so it might be that it needs a good thump to get it in. So I'm going to go and have a little read, I think, and see if someone gives me a hint or a clue about it. But I'm going to stop for now. So the next day, I watched a Rimmer Bros video on the Triumph Stag water pump, which is basically the same, and they just banged it in. Now, the one difference is with the Triumph Stag, it's vertical. This is at a slight angle, so I'm wondering if it's just not quite in line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to turn the engine through those few degrees so that this is vertical, and so it's coming straight down. And we're going to try to push it in that way. Right, that's done something. It's got it in a little bit further, but because it doesn't just come out any longer, but not enough. So I'm going to stop this episode here. And if you've got thoughts about how I get this to go down in again, or what it is, if there's a trick, if anyone knows, I'd be grateful. In the meantime, I'm going to get my slide hammer on it and get it back out. And I'm going to go on from there. In the meantime, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and join me on the next episode of Henry's Garage. I went out and got myself a big ass mallet, and I get it down a bit now, and you can see it's on firmly but not over tightened, but the gap is huge. You know, there's all my feelers together and they get in there. There we go. Okay, so the whole way around, all the feelers together, they're going into the gap. See? So that's too big. Must be. So what and if I try tightening it down any further, then it the engine comes to the point where it won't turn. So we're at the right kind of tightness from that point of view. So I'm wondering if actually I've got a 12 vein water pump and then a 6 vein cover. I don't know how to check that, but I'm going to go and see if I can now.